Understand what the gap is and how you can service that gap, and recognize if you've identified that need and you want to go down this path, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of struggles.
You've found somewhat of a niche within the fintech space, and clearly things are working out well. What advice do you have for others that have a specific idea in mind, a corner of the market that isn't yet being serviced and want to offer niche services?
I think what we've learned through our journey is when you identify your niche is to identify the size of the market opportunity. And then after identifying the size, what we do is to try and identify, is there truly a need or is it more of a want? And as you start going through that filtration process of identifying that addressable marketplace and the need versus want, and then the third part of it is, can you bring it together on an efficient model? Is there a way to create disruption in that industry by bringing together the different subsets of specialty, in our case, finance, legal, and technology, in order to do so? And that's a tough challenge to overcome.
Do you consider yourself a disruptor?
I think we are a disruptor. I think we're a disruptor because I think we've created a subset of an industry that provides loans against an asset class that is really tough to understand. It's really tough for a traditional lender to price, and even tougher to figure out how to be able to bring the necessary skill sets in order to support that model on a go-forward basis.
So what are some of the challenges associated with being a disruptor? It sounds like that's something you wear with a badge of honor, but I'm sure it's not always welcomed. What are some of the opportunities and challenges of putting yourself in opposition to the status quo?
The opportunity is ultimately to service that addressable marketplace that you find that gap exists for. In our case, it's people that are injured and waiting for a settlement following the legal process. The challenge is when you do it, often there's nobody to talk to. You're on your own. There's no technology to figure out how to be able to create and support that infrastructure of that need. And in our case, it's a significant need when we think of the amount of people that have been injured on a daily basis, and the fact that the credit income to debt ratio in Canada is so tough. The benefit is when you can pull it together, it's the client at the end of the day that gets service that counts.
What advice do you have for other aspiring disruptors out there, folks that have an idea for something that doesn't exist currently and by definition sounds crazy to a lot of people because it doesn't exist?
I would encourage entrepreneurs who are thinking about heading down this path, ask questions, do your research, really understand if there's a demand in the marketplace, and understand what the gap is and how you can service that gap, and recognize if you've identified that need and you want to go down this path. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of struggles, but the benefit is the success of that addressable market that you're identifying and filling that no one else has done, that will offset all of the hours and the time and the effort you put into this.